Well, God bless you and welcome to our deeper broadcast. My name is Apostle Lakeycia Jefferson, founder of the International Prayer Network 2, the Apostolic and Prophetic Voice Ministries, as well as the Walking in Your Destiny Mentorship School. And we are going to continue on with our series about how to walk in the supernatural. But on today, I want to talk with you about how to sharpen your spiritual sight. How to sharpen your spiritual sight. You see, your spiritual sight, it must be developed. In order to walk in the supernatural, you must work on sight development. We know that in the natural, when babies are born in the natural, and over time their sight matures, or in other words, their sight develops even the more over time. Their eyes begin to adjust to new images. Their eyes begin to adjust to different sources of light, objects, and images. So again, your spiritual sight must be developed, and I'm going to tell you in the next few minutes in this video about how to sharpen your spiritual sight. Number one, there are several ways that you can go about doing this. But number one, the main way to sharpen your spiritual sight is not to focus on what you see in the natural with your natural eyes, or the things that you see happening in the natural realm. You must look beyond those situations and focus on the Lord. Because if you it's like focus on what is right in front of you, which is in the natural realm, you will not be able to see things that are in the distance that are coming by way of the spiritual realm. If you focus on what is right in front of you, you will never begin to, in other words, you will never sharpen your spiritual sight. You must look beyond what is in the natural. Let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 15, and we want to look real quickly at a couple of verses here. It says, and Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me to come unto thee on the water. And he said, come. And when Peter has come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind that was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said to him, O thee of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? In other words, Peter was okay walking on the water, but when he took his focus off of the supernatural and what was happening and began to focus on that was happening in the natural wind, the wind being boisterous, the sea rocking to and fro, he began to focus on those things in the natural, with what his natural eye could see, and because of that he began to sink. So likewise, he did not, the same is true for us. We must readjust. We must readjust our vision and focus on that is beyond what we can see with our natural eyes. Peter's natural reasoning caused him to focus on the physical and the impossibility, and he started to sink. As you sharpen your spiritual sight, you begin to focus on that which is possible only with God. You begin to focus on those things that man would say no to, but God would say yes to. And if we focus on those things that are possible, because the Bible declares that all things are possible to those that believe. All things are possible with God. The other thing that we need to understand is that to sharpen your spiritual sight, you must believe in the power of the provision of the Lord. You see, in this passage of scriptures in the book of Matthew, that was chapter 14, verses 28 through 31, Peter began to doubt the provision of the Lord, that God was able to provide for him in that place of the supernatural. Oh, come on, somebody. In order to have your spiritual vision sharpened, you must be able to believe in the power of the provision of the Lord. Let me move on. The other thing that you must understand in how to sharpen your spiritual sight is that your faith must increase in order for your spiritual sight to sharpen. You see, in this passage, in Matthew 14 and 31, Jesus has said to him, "O ye of little faith." There's no way that your spiritual sight can be sharpened if you don't believe in the power of the supernatural. If you don't believe that you can touch the supernatural realm, you'll never be able to not only see in that place, and neither will your spiritual sight be sharpened to that next level. You must worship God while those challenges or situations where you need a miracle is still present. The thing about allowing your spiritual sight to be sharpened is that you're going to use that in situations in your everyday life. Some of you may have a lack of finances. Some of you may need healing in your body. So you're going to practice using your spiritual sight on a daily basis to see yourself victorious over those situations that bring you challenges. But here's the thing: your spiritual sight will only be sharpened while those symptoms are still present. The symptoms are still present, but you're able to see beyond what is taking place in your physical body, and you're able to see your healing already manifested. Your spiritual sight will be sharpened while the challenges, the situations, and circumstances are still present. The other thing you must do to sharpen your spiritual sight is to be mindful, once again, of the supernatural realm on a daily basis. As long as we are here on earth, we will be faced with challenges. The supernatural power of God is always able to intervene in our situations. But you have to be able to see in the supernatural realm, to be able to see the solution to your problem or the solution to your challenge. I can remember, I'm going to end this after I tell this personal story. There was a time when I was sick for many months. I had been to doctor after doctor after doctor, and no medical diagnosis could be made. I was having some serious physical manifestations in my body, but I believed that if I could just get a diagnosis, if I could just get the doctor to label what was happening to me, then I would know how to pray, and I knew the Lord would heal me. However, there was one day that I decided, I said, I'm going to take my eyes off of the physical manifestations. I'm going to take my eyes off of the physical condition of my body and just believe that the Lord had the power to heal my body even without me having a medical diagnosis. So immediately I began to feel better as soon as I began to pray that, and then I began to see myself healed until healing manifested completely. So in other words, I had to be able to see in the supernatural realm. I had to see my body whole. I had to see my body healed. I had to see the hand of God, going inside my body and fixing those things that were out of order and out of alignment in my physical body that was causing me to be sick. So once I took my eyes off of the physical setbacks and began to pray in that manner, I'm looking perhaps, it's almost like there's a curtain that's right here before you, and you have to open the curtain to see what it is that's behind the curtain. And the more that you're able to get behind this natural curtain, the sharper your spiritual sight will be. But again, this is part one. I'm going to come back to you shortly with the second part of how to sharpen your spiritual sight. Again, this is Apostle Jefferson. Please tune in with us at www.theinternationalprayernetwork.com, and then also fellowship with us at www.apostolicandpropheticvoice.com. Amen. Well, God bless you, and know that I am praying for an increase in your spiritual sight. God bless you.